I'm Navid Navab, and I've been active in the field of art, science, music, and technology and new media for over 14 years or so. I also do some research, and I go back between art and science and music a lot. I'm always tracing where technological processes could be found in nature. I'm always looking for what is alive, but before biology. You know, when you have a beautiful whirlpool, something is alive in it. It's almost like a force of life before it turns into life. So I'm looking for, the term for that would be media archaeology, looking at the past to project a different future, perhaps a hopeful future. So I'm looking at where in history our technologies got too obsessed with technological processes and forgot the technology of nature. And I try to collaborate with forces of nature. And this looking at the past and the future with really high-tech technologies to work with amazing alive forces of nature is common to all my works. I must also mention I have collaborated Garnet Willis, who's an amazing engineer and artist. Together we work on the robotics to co-steer and collaborate with alive processes in nature. In the case of the installation, there's an organ and there's a triple pendulum with the three-body problem. Except that it's a three-body no problem because it's creative. It's not about prediction. So the robotics try to steer these forces of nature. Imagine when you make a whirlpool with your hand is not making the whirlpool, there's forces at play. So that's how I use robotics, to guide the chaos of nature between order and disorder and inventions of generation of patterns of life. I thought the organ represents the highlight pinnacle achievement of civilization to control the turbulence of nature so it could adhere to human ideology. That was very cool 100 years ago. But like many other musical instruments, you had the piano, but then you had the prepared piano. With the organ, I thought if we got obsessed with controlling the turbulence of nature to get these tones, what if we could go back and use really advanced technology, robotics, to control the flow of air to modulate that and allow the spirit of the wood and the air to come out. Let me visualize this for you for a second. For example, imagine a line of smoke. At some point it dissipates and becomes noise. In between, what do you have? You have beautiful patterns that are come and they go. Before you could capture them, they're gone. They're full of life. The organ has a lot of that in it because every fluctuation of air, when it's underblown, makes beautiful tones that we could attune to, so it becomes natural. So I invite us to relook at music technologies as too obsessive with control and invite them to collaborate with materialities that run through them. So this is my invitation for a way of working with nature, with technology. Imagine if you have a beautiful waterfall, a physician or a spiritual person or a philosopher could tell you a lot about how cool waterfalls are, but some people just watch it and they feel something in them. And this is hard to explain. That's at the core of the work, which is the movement of life. The movement of life is not romantic, is not destructive, it's not orderly. If you walk in a forest, so many things happen. There's thunder, there's chaos, there's order, there's patterns. So that's at the core of the movement of life. Now at the edge of ecological disaster, we've forgotten about the movement of life. We became obsessed about controlling it, predicting it, so we could conquer it. So in a way, technology is trying to colonize nature. So my work is thinking, what if we could collaborate with forces of nature that are hard to predict and control? What if maybe we are too obsessed with predicting and controlling everything because we want to be in control? And that's why we are here in so much trouble with the forces of nature that are around us. So if we embrace them in all their beauty and horror and meditation and temporalities and notions of life that look different than humans, there is a mystic, spiritual, scientific, alchemical, order, disorder, all comes together. There's a movement that we are part of, and we could work with it as this movement forms us. I hope to invite everyone to embrace forces that seem out of control, because anytime something is indeterminate, uncertain, seemingly random, it's also creative. When you say someone is intense, means you don't know what's happening inside, means they have intention instead of expression, extensivity. And we should embrace this. We shouldn't be afraid of things we can't control. And this attitude could change how we approach ecology. I hope to invite everyone to embrace forces that don't seem human and hard to predict, because this is where nature creates life.